Hello and welcome back everyone to another episode of Swing Shift Trades. So if you're new to this channel, my name's Matt. I've been trading for about 4.5 years now, coming from a background of zero knowledge up to being a profitable trader. This channel is aimed mainly at beginner traders, for those that are interested in trading and want to find out more. So I hope for some of you this is going to be a really interesting episode. So I'm a swing trader. If you're not sure what that is, go back and look at my other videos. But really I'm looking at these oscillations over slower time frames. So usually I work on the 4-hour chart, so I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. If you want to know a bit more about my strategy, look at the previous video where I've gone through it step by step. At the moment, I mainly trade stocks and shares. That's the US markets. Part of my strategy as a swing trader is every Monday before the markets open, I look for stocks of interest. So in this episode, what I'm really going to concentrate is how I go through all those stocks, pick the ones that interest me, and then transfer them to my watch list. And then once they're on my watch list, I'll do a bit more of a refined look through to see which ones I really might take in the near future. So for anyone out there who's really interested in finding out a bit more about that process, and in particular identifying stocks that are interesting, then you've come to the right place. Right, let's crack on then. So it's Monday morning, and without fail, I log on to the charts before the markets open and also on Wednesday as well, typically. I mean, that changes depending on how many stocks I've got on my watch list, but generally that's what I like keeping to. So you might find it useful here just to see what my process is as I go through and choose my stocks for that week. What we've got here is my base chart. So on my base chart, I've got whatever stock I'm looking at. There's rain at the moment here. And also I've got two indicators open. One is the MACD and one is the RSI. And what you can also see here is I've got my watch list here. There's one on it already. So the whole purpose of this Monday morning routine is for me to go through all the stocks, screen those that I'm interested in, and then transfer them over to my watch list. And once they're on my watch list, I'll go through them in more detail and actually mark them up properly so that I've really got more of an idea when I'm going to jump into a trade or when I might have to wait. So I set alerts and mark my charts up. So just a quick comment about this chart. You can see I've got these indicators here, the MACD and the RSI. If you're a beginner, you probably won't know what those are yet. They're very basic indicators, but I do emphasize they are just supplementary. So what I do is whenever I screen my stocks, I will actually close these down. And you can do that by going up to this tab here and expanding just the charts. So if I click on this, and this will just show the chart. So I do use the MACD and the RSI. I'll go into that in a lot more detail in another video. In my previous video, I've really mentioned my strategy. So if you haven't seen that, it might be helpful for you to go back and have a look at that. But I will be repeating all this in other sessions as we go on through multiple videos in the future. So why do I close all those indicators? It's really just to remove noise. Any experienced trader will probably tell you that it's a good idea to get rid of noise. There is no substitute for you getting used to looking at the charts. So indicators are just supplementary. Just a reminder here, there is no one indicator or combination of indicators that will accurately predict the market, in my opinion. So really, there is no substitute. I keep emphasizing this for time spent on the charts and for you to get a feel of the charts. So that's part of the purpose of this video. And also my method to screen stocks. It's that it keeps you engaged in looking at the charts to get you used to looking for those upswings, those oscillations and downswings so that you've got a good chance of getting in and getting out at the right time. So I think I'll stop rambling there and get back to the chart. So we're back to the base chart here. This is a rectangle that I've marked up before. I'll leave that on, but it's really there because it's already on my watch list. So where do we start? How do we start screening? So this is the base chart that's open. Indicators removed. If you go up to the plus tab here, I will press this, and then I will click on the screener tab, which is here. And because I'm dealing in stocks, that's the tab I want to press. There are other options here for other indices, but I am using stocks at the moment. If you want to know why I've gone into this in more detail in my other videos, why I'm using stocks at the moment. So here we are. This is the screener that will come up in TradingView. So we've got all of these stocks going down on the left here. We've got some details about them, performance in 1 week, 3 months, 1 month. It's the other way around here. We've got percent change, performance in 6 months, year to date, etc. Now, you don't need to know all of this. I only use a small part of this to make my decisions. I've also got the watch list here that's come up on this. So this is the basic stock screener. I've gone into detail about this in my other videos as well of how to set this up. But my criteria, this is in TradingView, this stock screener, and the purpose of the screener is obviously to screen those stocks that are of interest to you. And just a reminder, those stocks that are interesting to me are those between $2 and $6 and that have had a negative change of at least 10% in the previous week. So that means they've been declining. And why am I after that? It's because I'm a swing trader. So what I'm trying to do is catch them on the bottom of the dip. So that's in the level of support so that I can catch them going back up again. So that's my strategy. One question you might ask is why do I use 2 to 6? So they're lower end shares, $2 to $6. The reason being is that really you can buy more shares. So for this account that I'm going to be using for beginners, for all you beginners, I'm going to be using real money so that you can follow me. Because of that, I'm also going to use a small account, probably about $1,000. And the reason for that is most of you that are starting will probably use a small account. So I'm going to mirror that so that we can use a realistic amount of money. So if you're using a small amount of money, really you want to buy more shares. And to buy more shares, you have to use a lower price. Anything below 2 gets into the penny markets, and they're really, or penny stocks, and they're really too volatile really to deal with. So for $2 to $6 is a compromise. So I think that's a good place to start if you're a beginner, you've already practiced with paper money, and you're ready for the transition into small amounts of real money. Don't forget, trading is a risky game, and most people, 90%, will lose money. So never trade with money, particularly at the beginning, that you can't afford to lose. So all that aside, I've got my price, 2 to 6. By the way, you can click on any of these tabs and change them, and that have had a 10% drop in a week. So what you can do is just press refresh to make sure that you're up and they're all in order. And you can see what I'm really interested in is this first column. So if I press on this, it will the tab that I'm really interested in is to sort descending or ascending. So I say sort ascending. And what will happen there is it will filter all those stocks that have had that drop. So we've got from minus 20 here. This is quite small. So usually I will go down the stocks manually until I get to minus 20, but the biggest drop seems to be only minus 20 here. So I might go down to about minus 10. So let's see what we have. So it varies week on week and day to day, obviously, what that drop might be. So that's why you have to check back pretty frequently. So for me, at a minimum, Monday and Wednesday. The whole purpose of this is to screen these stocks and then transfer them to my watch list over here so that I'm ready to go. And then after I've done that, then we'll go over to this watch list again and look through them more thoroughly. So let's go through these. This is Organogenesis. Right click on the button and then open the super chart, and we'll physically look at the chart. Straight away, this is of interest to me because there's lots of oscillations. Can you see that? I'm a swing trader. It's gone down, it's hit support, gone up, down, up, down. So whenever I see this oscillation, it's of interest to me. I look for areas of support and resistance. So one could say here, there's a level of support here. That's the lower band, somewhere around here. It's bounced again there, seems to have bounced here again. But there might be a higher one up here that's pretty obvious. It's definitely bounced around here. It's gone up, it's come down, it's gone up, and it looks like it's coming down. But there's only been a history here of support from here, here, and perhaps here. So this is a potential interest. So I'm going to put this on my watch list. So how do I do that? This chart is open. Orgo is the abbreviation. I'll close this. It'll take me back to my stock screener, and then I'll click on this tab and I'll color it orange. That's just, you can choose any color, of course, and then right click and add to watch list. There we go. And if you were quick, you would have spotted that it's popped up now on my watch list. So there you go. That's my first stock of interest. Before we carry on, some of you might think, hang on, there are better, more refined ways of doing this. The reason I do it this way, which is more manual than most, is because it gets me used to looking at the charts. If I find personally, if I don't look at the charts, you forget or you become rusty at looking at the charts. So this forces me. It doesn't take long. Once you've got some experience, you can look at these charts and make a decision in about 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whether it's one of interest or not. But it forces you in a good way to look down, have the routine, and as I said before, nothing, absolutely nothing can really compensate for you spending time looking at the charts. Indicators are a nice supplement, but beyond that, it was your edge or your decision making is what will make you a competent trader or a bad trader. So let's carry on. Where have we go? We're going to go here. I'll speed things up. TLSI, right click here, open super chart. Let's have a quick look. Ooh, this trade, there is some oscillation. I'm on the 4-hour chart here. There seems to be sort of an area of support down here. So this will go of interest, but it will be of long-term interest. So what I will do is put an alert down here, I think. So when it hits here in the future, it might be up to a week. If it hits my alert, it will go off and then I'll relook at it. But it's definitely worth putting on my watch list. So how do I do that again? Just make a note, TLSI, close, go back to the screener, mark it, and then to the watch list. And there we go, it's popped up here. Right, let's zip through these again onto the next one. This is ELAB. Let's go on there again. We'll open the super chart. Exciting, isn't it? So let's see what we've got here. So this one is not of interest. You can see I'm on the 4-hour chart again. There was some action previously. There was a huge drop in price, but it's just ranged. If I can zoom in. But again, what I'm looking for again are these oscillations, and it's just not there. So this will not go on my watch list. So I'll close that, go back to the screener. You get the idea. So we're on stocks now that have dropped down 13% in the last week. So we'll crack on. It's got some nice oscillations, but it's a bit rangy. It's a bit unpredictable. What I would like to see is some duplication that's consistent over time. This has got a large upswing. It's hit resistance. It's come down a very much lower area of resistance than another. And one could argue this is on a downward sort of trend, but it's not overly consistent. I like to see these nice consistent oscillations over time, which are not here. So that will not go on my watch list for the moment. What I hope you can see is that this repetition gives you structure, and looking out for this support and resistance approach over time will also give you structure. So there does seem to be an interesting downward trend here. There are lower highs and there might be a series of lower lows brewing, but again there doesn't seem to be very many strong themes here, and particularly as I work on the 4-hour chart, it gets a bit messy. So one could argue that it is going down a bit, it's trending down, but it's not particularly predictable. So these oscillations are not really structured that well. So again, this will not go on my watch list. So really, that is it. That is the pre-screen of my stocks. Very manual based. It forces me to look at the charts and spend time on the charts so that I can reinforce my strategy and look for those stocks of interest without any indicators at all. I've got 6 stocks here of interest. So after that, I really go through each one individually again and then put them in order to see which ones are closest and furthest away of meeting the criteria that I think would make a good trade. So I think I can just close this down now. And my charts, the original base chart will be there still with rain. So how would I look through these very quickly? So this is interesting here. There are some oscillations here. There does seem to be an area of support. There's been a bounce here, here, and here. So what I've done is, if you've seen my other videos, you draw a rectangle, a broad rectangle, because it's imprecise where these bounces might occur, around these broad areas of support and resistance. This is on the border because it's a bit out of alignment with other areas of support, and this is where I might use indicators. So I've closed my indicators, but if I open them again, you can see that I've got a crossover coming up on the MACD. And I've also got a crossover on the RSI. So these are both sort of momentum indicators. I'm going to talk a bit more about these indicators in a future video. Because both of these indicate a positive potential for an upswing, I think I will keep this trade active. So the question there is, when will I take the trade? So if I look at those criteria of a crossover, it's happening pretty much now. So the trade looks like it's already hit or hitting the bottom of the swing. In my eyes, at this moment in time, when the market opens, if the price action is still at this level, which is 3.74, I will probably jump in immediately. So I will put this as a trade to take. Actually see if it drops here. So I'll put an alert in here. Add alert. And if I put my alert in there, if I press this, it will be active. I've already got other alerts in place, but you can see here rain is now active. So if that alarm goes off, I will take that trade. Let's go on to the next one. Again here. So where is the level of support here? So again, I'll go to my rectangle tool broadly, very simple strategy. It's around here. Let me just move it to the right place. It is around here. So I would argue that I would take the trade if it goes halfway the average of all those zones of support. So when it reaches this level, price action 4.08, I will set an alarm. If that goes off, I will consider taking the trade. If you go to your alerts, that should be on there now. Orgo, that's there. So I never chase trades. I let them come to me. And you can see the backup here on the MACD. We've just got a crossover here and on the RSI. So they just give me some kind of extra confidence that I'm making the right decision. But again, your primary decision will become from the price action and looking at the charts. These indicators are purely supplementary. So I'll close them down. Let's go back to our watch list. Let's go to the next one down here. Yeah, this one is a bit more tricky. You can see there's a lot more choppiness going on. So on reflection, I'm not so happy about this trade. It's a bit too choppy for me, so I'm going to remove that from my watch list for now. Okay, we got laser here. Again, I would give this a C grade. This has been on the downtrend for a long time. This is since September 25, so there hasn't been any real quick upswing. So the danger here is that I'll be hanging on and waiting for a long time for this to come up. So I think in retrospect, I'm going to remove that from my watch list. So this is the last stock to look at. This oscillation's a bit choppy. So there is a clear area of support. Let's mark it up and see what we've got. What would I be willing to do here? So around here. That's the zone of interest, isn't it? So let's just have a quick look at the indicators. So from the MACD and the RSI, it's indicating that I shouldn't buy yet unless we get this crossover on the way up. So I'm going to leave that at the moment to watch. What I would suggest, I'm going to put an alert down here. So when it hits that marker, it will go off and then I'll make another decision. So there you have it, all complete. Look through our stocks on the stock screener. We've transferred them to the watch list and we have 4 remaining. So of those 4, let's just expand this. I think this is my one of interest here. So when it gets to my mark, I might well buy here. Rain is my first stock of interest. I'll wait for the alert. I won't chase it. I'll wait for that to come to me. Also, we have Orgo here. Again, when it gets to this, I will revisit. The alarm goes off if it gets here, and I will probably take that trade. So this one, again, is of interest. So whichever of these come first, I will take a look at. There you go. That is my routine stock picking process. So I normally grab a coffee, put some background music on, and then just go through this. And over time, what you'll find is it's actually pretty therapeutic. And the advantage, of course, with swing trading is that you don't have to be at your computer all the time. Once you've set the alerts, because you're on a 4-hour time frame, you can get on with your day. So this might be really interesting for those of you who are working as well and trying to train yourself in trading while you're still working. Just before we finish this, there's one thing, and that is, as technical traders, we're not so interested in things such as earnings reports or even other events. But I would say before I take any trade, there's a small tab here, and this is breaking news. So, of course, if there is anything that gives a very obvious news that's positive or negative, then do take note of that. So as we go on through this series, we'll really touch on this again and again. And over time, if you follow me and the strategy for longer and longer, you will also get that experience and get a feel of those charts. And before you know it, it will literally take seconds to look at a screen and decide whether a chart is for you. So I really hope that was useful for you. Obviously, there's a lot of stocks to look through, but I hope that helped you narrow down and choose the ones that might suit you and your strategy. In the next video, I'm going to go through which ones I placed a trade with, and then I'll show you how they're actually doing. So I'll be placing trades and using real money based on that watch list. So if you're interested in that, do follow along and we can see how they go according to my strategy. Well, I hope you found that interesting. So don't forget to press the subscribe button. But more importantly, I hope you're really enjoying your trading journey. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.